Well, hello everyone, it's me, Mary or Hawk. Welcome back to another video. This video is a PSA to my fellow witches, occultists, and magic practitioners, especially those just starting out, because I find beginners in the witchcraft space often fall into this pitfall more, but it's not exclusive to beginners, and you'll understand what I mean when you watch through this video. So please stick by and please listen. This will be rambly, but I do have notes here to keep me mostly on point. So, what's this pitfall, you might ask? Well, this pitfall is when you get way more of a tool or ingredient or like herb than you truly need, and you think you need that much that you got at the time because of your ego saying, well, you're gonna need it all the time because you really struggle with this, like you're really gonna need a lot of this ingredient. And then when it comes to the real world, when things actually play out, you find, hey, I didn't need as much as I thought I would, and now I have a whole buttload of this tool or ingredient or herb candle than I truly need, and now I feel like things are going to waste. So if you've fallen into that pitfall, or that little struggle, I don't know how to articulate it, know that you're not alone, and I want to talk about how I've dealt with that problem myself. So to begin, more formally, I'm going to tell a story to you all about a time when I purchased way more than I should have of a tool or ingredient, and what I learned, the lessons I learned, and also after the story I'm going to talk about ways you can mitigate this problem of purchasing or foraging or getting more than you need of a certain thing. So please stand by, bear with me, keep listening. So the story I'm going to tell about that time is it takes place near the end of high school, so senior year, mid to end, 2021. Up until that point, I wasn't as serious about my witchcraft practice, but of course, witch talk and things like that came about, and it did inspire me to really get on top of my witchcraft practice and get more directly involved and have more of a intentional practice, magically speaking. And I'd seen some things online and in spell books and stuff like that of like people using pink candles or red candles to manifest a partner. And as a lonely teenager who didn't have very many friends and had very bad luck at that point in the love department, I didn't have very many healthy relationships in the love department. I had one, and it was not healthy. And I thought at the time, I am autistic for context, sorry, that might seem out of the blue, but I am autistic, I do struggle with social skills, and I figured, well, since I struggle so much with the relationship on the friendship end, let alone the romantic end, I'm gonna need a lot of pink candles, is what I thought. So I went to a metaphysical store, and I bought a bunch of pink candles, and I mean a bunch of pink candles, and way more than I truly need. I got like 10 or something, and then I graduated in June, and then July I turned 18. And after I turned 18, I started going on dating apps, and I'm like, that would be a really good time to use one of those pink candles to call in my most ideal, healthy partner that's meant for me at this point in my life, at the very least. Like, I was really wanting to call in a healthy, good, long-lasting match. And, after that, I matched with a guy, and I didn't think much of it at first. I thought, well, I'm gonna be friends with this person, kind of see who they are as a person before I commit to any sort of relationship. And lo and behold, in December of that year, I got into a relationship with that guy, and that guy is my boyfriend. So how does this relate to purchasing too much of a tool or item, you may ask? Well, it does relate, because after that point, after I got together with my current boyfriend, I didn't feel the need to use those pink candles. The other 9 or 11 or however many they are, 9 or 8 pink candles, like, I didn't feel the need to use them because I'm like, well, I manifested my partner. It's not like I need to manifest another partner. I have a pretty healthy relationship going on, and they haven't gotten to good use. I'll put it that way. I do need to use them. I'm probably going to use them in self-love practices or making friendships or something like that, like calling in friendships. But the lesson from that story is to get way less of a tool or ingredient or herb than you think you will need. Get far less, to the point where, like, am I gonna run out before I need to do this working? Like, get way less than you think you need. Less is more in this case. And the reason for that is that ego, personally, for me anyways, my ego makes me think I'll run out of that tool or ingredient before the time for a working comes that I need that tool or ingredient for, and I'll be in a bad position, or I feel like, oh, I'm gonna need it so often, like I thought with the pink candles, and or like something bad might happen if I don't get a certain thing in a certain amount, like, that sort of thing. And yes, I do struggle with a little bit of paranoid thinking sometimes, but like that's honestly what happens with me. My ego will make me be like, no, you're gonna need it, you're gonna run out, and then you won't have it, and then you'll be in a bad position, so get more than you think you'll need, or like get this specific amount that's like seems reasonable at the time but ends up being more than I need. And this is rarely, if ever, the case that I actually need that amount of things. And I end up using it far less and less often than I expected or really needed. So, what is my advice to those of you who struggle with that exact thing or something along those lines or similar or adjacent? My advice to you is to start small. Build your tool inventory up as your practice and craft develops and as needed and intuitively called for. That is something that is really, really, really important to get far less. Take only what you need. That is not only the case for foraging, but it is the case for getting candles, getting herbs, getting oils. Get only what you need. And you're like, well, how will I know how much I need? Because my ego is telling me that I need this amount, and it ends up being far more than I need or that I'll ever use. And that leads me to then say is to learn discernment and the sound, patterns, feelings, visuals you might get in your mind's eye. Get all the sensations, learn the sensations of your intuition and trust that intuitive hit. Learn to discern and also learn to know what ego feels like versus what intuition feels like. Learn to discern that. And I know it's easier said than done, but that is a very vital part of your practice, I'd say. Like, I personally think I'd say. Because if you don't know what's coming through, if you don't know if it's from a guide, deity, ancestor, some other being, yourself, and what part of yourself, is it your ego or is it your intuition, is it your higher self? Like, there's a lot that could be going on, and learning to discern what that voice is, or that sensation that you're feeling, or that hit you're getting is, and where it's coming from, and if it's for your best and highest good, is very, very, very important, I'd say, personally. So learn discernment and learn the feelings and sensations of your intuition and how that differs from your ego. It's easier said than done, but it's a practice, just like art, just like a sport. Witchcraft is a practice, and learning that discernment is very important. Likewise, I find that if something is truly meant for me, if I need that tool or item or decor piece or whatever it might be, chances are, not always, but chances are, I'll either already have it. Say, I think I need rosemary. Well, I have some in my kitchen cupboard. Like, I could get that rosemary. And unless I need a bundle specifically to smoke cleanse and protect, I could use that kitchen rosemary. And even then, I don't need the bundle for that because I have those charcoal discs and I can just put the rosemary on that, like the heated up charcoal disc. So, chances are you will likely already have what you need. And if you don't have it, you'll probably find it. It'll come to you. Whether in nature, you'll find, oh wait, that plant I didn't know that grew here. Like, wow, it grows here. I can forage some and it's not endangered or anything. And I can take this small amount and dry it and use it. And if there's more that's still growing and it's necessary at that time, it'll be there for me. Or sometimes the item will show up in a thrift store. That's often what I find. It like shows up when I need it. So in nature, at a thrift store, etc. Likewise, there's a good chance I'll get gifted it. That's something I find personally that happens to me. Like, if I need like a specific tool, a specific incense or something, like, yes, I could buy it, but also like if I just waited a few moments, like a day or two, like, it's not unheard of for like somebody be like, hey, like, do you need this? Like, I have this, and they give it to me. So I'm like, okay, so I didn't need to buy it. So learning to wait and see, like, okay, like, don't ask people like, hey, can you get me this necessarily, but like, chances are people of their own volition will just hand me the thing I just so happen to need for that working or for whatever I need. And that's a thing that'll happen to me. Also, if I really need it, I'll often have dreams about it, or it'll come to me via meditation, visually or auditorily, my mind's ear or mind's eye. That's often what happens too. And please take note when it comes to your dreams and meditation, like as a side note, this is a little rambly. If you have repeating dreams, reoccurring dreams, please pay attention to those and write those down. Or if maybe not repeating, but it's like something that really stood out to you and you remembered it from your dream, but you don't normally remember your dreams, write that down. Not only will that help build up your dream practice, but it'll help you see, pay attention to the signs and synchronicities in your waking mundane life that correspond to what your dream was telling you or what you found in your meditation or whatever it might have been. Like, often, like, these things will coincide with each other, and that's the universe's way of saying, or your guide's way of saying, hey, you might need this thing, or you might need to be aware of this thing and then prepare for it, or deal with it. Likewise, and lastly, I will feel a strong intuitive pull to it. Not like an egoic, oh, I really want, let's say, ginger. I really want ginger. That's different from, I'm planning to do a working, and intuitively I'll know, I'll know, hey, ginger is needed for this. And not necessarily because, oh, that's what the spell book said, or that's what the Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs said. It's because my intuition, which knows best, I'd say my higher self knows best for me, says, hey, yeah, this is actually what's needed. It may not be what's traditionally used in this type of working, but this is what is called for in this working for you in this particular moment, and I'll feel that strong intuitive pull. Often this helps me deal with FOMO, honestly. It'll be there if and when I'm ready for it, personally, is how I see things. And also, I guess last but not least, besides it being there and if I need it, and so I don't have to worry about missing out, because if it truly is meant for me, it will come to me, there is a little bit of wisdom in that new age saying of, I don't chase, I attract. That is something to really be aware of. Like, call in what is meant for you in that moment, for your best and highest good, for whatever the situation may be. And if it comes to you, if you happen upon it in your waking life or in your dreams or whatever, and you feel that strong intuitive pull and it resonates, like, that is a lot better, I'd say, personally, for my practice. I can't say about yours, but like, don't chase, attract what you truly desire, and it'll often be there when you need it, and it may not be what you expected. Like, you might think, oh, I think I needed cinnamon, I would normally use cinnamon for that, but truly you needed ginger, right? Like, because your intuition said so, or your guide said so, or whatever the case may be. Like, you will often attract it or already have it when it's ready for you, is my point. So yeah, to recap this rambly video, FOMO is something that I struggle with, often because, growing up, I was not rich by any means, and I often didn't have what my peers had. So I feel like sometimes the need to, oh, I need this thing. But if I truly need it, it will come to me. Like, I don't have to chase after it and, like, spend recklessly. Like, if I truly, truly, truly need it, it will come to me. It may not be when I expected it or thought I needed it, but it will come to me if I need it. If and when I need it, I should say. And, that's something to keep in mind. And just really learn to discern with your intuition. Like, learn to discern what your intuition is versus your ego. And, like, fear versus, like, intuitive, like, trust and knowing. Like, that's something to discern from. Like, is it coming from a place of fear and ego, or is it coming from a place of wisdom and higher self? The higher self, your inner wisdom, your intuition, is it coming from there, or is it coming from fear? That's important to discern. And also discern, is this realistic? Like, do I genuinely need to be afraid of this? Or is it a warning? Or is it just my ego making up a scenario, or my mind making up a scenario, making me feel like it's happening, but it's not? That's something I struggle with. That's something to be aware of. Learn discernment. And also start small, get less than you think you'll need. Build up your inventory as your craft and practice develops as needed and as intuitively is called for, intuitively. So that being said, I hope this made sense, this video. I feel like this was kind of incoherent, rambling, but if you got anything out of this, please let me know. This is Hawk or Mary signing out. Stay magical, and don't worry, if you don't have it right now, it'll come to you when you're ready. Trust me. Have a wonderful day.